We're live.
We're live. Not a cuss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, it's the Depths of Dialogue
I'll make
podcast.
sure.
I'm here with Chris Caress. Chris is one of my good buddies. He was in my wedding and using the new camera. So I'm actually gonna do a little one of these guys to make sure I'm in it. We're drinking some. Oh yeah, perfect. We're drinking some Belle Meade. I don't know. It's a 118 proof Belle Meade from the Matt Harper. He signed me up for a online whiskey tasting, so I get a new bottle of whiskey.
Do you have a code?
I don't know. It literally just shows up to my house, and I'm just like, this is like the best thing ever. Every month, I get a new bottle of whiskey. And I haven't even finished the first one. Actually, I just did finish the first one. I haven't finished the previous one. Let's go ahead and cheers for Matt Harper, because Matt Harper's the OG.
Go Harper.
And honestly, I think because of Matt Harper was the only reason why we even thought about doing a podcast in the first place. We would chill at the hookah bar for like 3 hours, and we're like, man, these are just the best conversations. We should start recording them. But we never did, and Matt Harper's...
That's not true.
And we did record one on our phone, and it was... it's probably best that one got deleted.
Yeah.
But those conversations were gold, and yeah, that could be good wisdom for the YouTube in ages to come. But
good wisdom for the
youth. It didn't get recorded. But, there's one for Matt Harper. Matt Harper, hope you're doing good in Arkansas. I'll see you around New Year's.
It's coming up.
That's what he said. He said, trying to get him to come to Fort Myers with us. But, he's got a girlfriend and all right now, so...
Dude, Becca would love that.
I know, but he just said he has to visit her parents, and...
Oh, so he's coming to me.
He's looking to come, he's looking to come down next year. But he said he'd be in Indy for New Year's, so... Pretty stoked about that. Always gotta cheers it to the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Harper. But anyways, moving on. So Chris, you moved to Kansas City. How's Kansas City?
How
long
long
ago?
an answer you want?
How long ago was that you moved?
So
like a year ago? Over a year?
Getting on a year, yeah. So I think I drove down January 21st.
My birthday.
Yeah. drove down. So I'm coming up on a year. It's I think the windiest place, not like violent wind like in Chicago, but just like a constant steady wind. I think there's been wind every single day I've been there, and like enough that it's not just like a gentle breeze. But other than that, Kansas City is. Is it like Nebraska where there's like nothing going on? No. There's more going on in Kansas City probably than Indianapolis.
Really? The actual city of Kansas, like Kansas City, or?
So there's kind of...
Do you live in the city, or do you live in the outskirts of the city?
So I live in the west field of Kansas City. Some people say they're I live in Indy or I live in Chicago, and in reality they don't actually live in Indy or Chicago. They live on a different city that's very close to Chicago or Indy. So I live in Lenexa, which is like a suburb of Kansas City, and even then Kansas City has two sides because the city's actually kind of bisected by the state line. So there's KCK, which is the Kansas side, and then KCMO, the Missouri side. And KCMO is where, that's where the Royals actually play. That's where the Chiefs play. That's where the majority of the actual stuff to do is. But there's just a lot. Whenever people ask me to describe it, I always say it's a newer city, and it's almost like Indianapolis, but it just feels more lived in.
Is it bigger than Indy?
I think they're close to the same size, I want to say. So Indy has, there's a lot of growing businesses here in Indy. A lot of places are starting to headquarter here, but Kansas City already had a few places, to name a few. So there's Cerner, which is a big med tech company. I can tell you right now, they've got 4 campuses around the city, and they're not small campuses, huge buildings. And then Kiewit, which is an engineering firm. So I'd say the size of the cities are comparable.
Is it more or less hipster than Indy?
I
Oh, definitely more.
More hipster?
Oh, for
right?
sure. Because you get the hipsters that are like, one, I can already attest to this, so Justin knows I'm a hipster myself.
I try my best to live the life.
Justin's like pulling up on it, but
I got my haircut at it's called Commissary. Shout out Commissary.
Commissary, where's that at?
It's in downtown Indy. It's like right past.
Wharf is right, like right down the street, dude.
Yeah, I know. I've heard about that. I gotta check them out. But it's a coffee shop and a barber shop combined. So you can like get your espresso and just like sip on that espresso while you're getting your haircut. And it was the first time I've ever gotten a like a straight edge shave.
Oh, really?
It's the first time in my life I felt like a man.
Dude, I go to a place called Scissors and Scotch out in KC, and it's more like a bar. And
how much do you pay for a haircut?
It's like $40.
Okay, I paid $30, and I was like.
And it comes with a drink.
Oh well, that's
oh dude, it's great.
That's a deal right there. I paid $30, and I was like, I honestly don't even know if that's like good or bad, like if that's expensive or not expensive.
See, the thing
like, whatever.
I started going there. I actually got my hair cut at Scissors and Scotch before your wedding, and like I was really happy with it. And then one month I was just like, I want a quick touch up. I was taking a couple weeks from drinking, and I was like, I'm not gonna spend money on this and like then just like pass up on the drink. Like that's just wasting money.
Yeah, I know, right? You can't go and not get a drink while you're getting a haircut.
Well,
if the option's there, you have to get the drink.
You're leaving money on the table essentially. But like I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. So I go to Great Clips.
Oh,
They botched my hair. Like I never realized what a good haircut it was
until you go to Great Clips.
I go to Great Clips. They destroyed my hair, and it was. Like, I'm a confrontational person, like, at work and in other walks of life, but at the barbershop, for some reason, I'm not. So, instead of saying anything about it, I just go, thanks. I go to a different Great Clips. I just get my hair buzzed.
Oh, really?
That's
after?
It was,
That's
like,
funny.
like an hour after, I think.
Bree's always like, because Will got me, right before the bachelor party, he set me up. He just texted me one night. He's like, hey, I got you an appointment tomorrow at 1 with my barber. And so I was like, all right, cool. He's like, it's paid for and everything. I was like, sweet. So I just showed up, and she gave me a really nice cut. I don't remember her name. And then after that, I always went back to Sports Clips, and Bree absolutely hates it. There's just like something about it's not the same at all. And then when I went to Commissary, I told her kind of what I usually do, and she's like, because I usually get a number 5 fade with scissors on top. And she's like, is it okay if we do a 4? And I'm like. She's like, it's only really an eighth of an inch off, and like we don't do 5s. They just don't cut well. I was like, I trust you. Let's do it. Like, let's go with it.
Oh, that's how I've always been looked at.
Sports Clips and Great Clips, they're just like whatever. Like, yeah, if you're looking to get a nice haircut, don't go there.
Just like look a place up. Honestly, like
you can probably find a barber for not much more than a Great Clips or Sports Clips haircut. Like you just have to do the work of like researching it and like figuring out a good place to go.
If you're paying extra, it usually comes with something. Like every Wharfley's
the
down
hot
the street.
towel, the hot towel on the face, the straight edge shave.
Oh, they do my neckline with the straight edge.
Then the Commissary also does like beards. Like I don't have a big enough beard, obviously.
You're getting there, man.
I know. Just a couple of years away, we'll be good.
Bree probably doesn't agree, but I think you just go down to the mustache.
Yeah, she would not like that. Even though, like, before we started dating, but, like, when we first met, I grew a mustache for me and Trevor went to University Nationals.
I remember that.
No, I'm just going to grow a mustache just for the meat, just for the fun of it. It was terrible looking, but...
He's got a good mustache.
That was before we were dating, so...
Pelton's got a pretty decent mustache right now.
Coach, Oregon strength coach, Aaron Feld has a
great mustache.
Best stash I've seen. But if you go to like hipster places, I'm sure there's a guy there with a much better stash.
I think your original question was how hipster is Casey? It's very hipster.
Just by the people there, or like the kind of businesses that operate there.
So
like one good thing about downtown Indy is like now that I work in downtown Indy, like I absolutely love it. But there's so many like local hipster coffee shops. It's like I'm in heaven. I could pick a different one each day to go to and would not be disappointed at all.
See, it's not quite like
not that just local coffee shops are by definition hipster, but most of the times they are.
I think part of it is there's bleed over, I would say, from Lawrence. So Lawrence is where the University of, I think it's either University of Kansas or Kansas University.
By the way, off topic, shout out Kansas State beating Oklahoma. Did you watch that at all?
No, I was at work, but I was watching the update.
I watched it here and I was like, you've got to be shitting me, right? Kansas State was playing pretty damn insane.
It's sometimes that'll happen. Was that the same game where the Sooner tipped over, like that big one?
No, that was the week before. If it was the same game, that's just like...
That would have been like...
straight karma.
That would have made so much sense.
That would have been crazy.
But no, people would have been more excited, but I think Kansas City is definitely like a KU town. Lawrence is literally like, so my apartment's maybe 20 minutes outside of the city. Well, Lawrence is another 20 minutes past my apartment. Like, it's right there. I was there last Friday to see a show. Like, so Justin knows I listen to a lot of like punk bands, hipster bands, indie bands. They all come through Lawrence. And I think some of that kind of affects the city, but the city also has like a very, at times, like DIY spirit, which you could argue that comes from like barbecue. You know, barbecue you really got to do yourself.
Barbecue there,
so
delicious.
Holy shit, it is so good. And also the people there will fight you. Like
just to fight?
Dude, I was okay. So I'm at work 2 nights ago, and one of the other supervisors, we're just chatting, and so part of what I'm doing too, like I'm passing through here, going to Fort Wayne, but I'm also stopping in the Indianapolis office to try to recruit some people. And I was like, hey, I need you to throw me a PowerPoint together so that I can like present it to these people and see like who wants to come to Kansas City. And I was like, you should include the barbecue. And she goes, the barbecue's not even that good. Agents that were actually like still on calls, like they're peppered around, they stop, they turn up, they look at her, they go, excuse me? And they're like, you just haven't had the right one. She's like, I have. And then they start, like, all of them start listing off. Like, it's like Jack Stacks or
she's probably somebody that's just not going to be convinced by good barbecue.
I don't think so, because it's not like she's...
You could give her factually the best barbecue ever, and she'd probably be like...
So you're going to, like, a spot, like a town that has probably one of the best barbecue joints in the entire country.
Me?
Yes. So Austin...
Yeah, I was going to say, Kansas City and Austin are, like, the two places to get barbecue, aren't they? More so.
So it's like really different.
Austin,
so Texas is like a dry rub on it. So like the big thing down there is brisket, and all you do is you put salt and pepper on the outside. Dude, brisket's so good. So you've got that. Kansas City is more like burnt ends, which is like so the brisket comes in like there's like a fatter part right here, just in terms of thicker, and then it gets into the flat, and then there's like a fat cap right here. So they cut the fat cap off and they smoke that. It's called burnt ends, and it's just perfect. It's so good. That's their specialty, and it's more sauce. But the thing is, this girl who's talking about how bad the barbecue is there, she's not even from like a barbecue spot. She's from Virginia Beach, Virginia. It's not like the Carolinas are known for it. Memphis, Tennessee is known for barbecue. Texas.
Carolinas are known for barbecue?
Yeah, whole hog barbecue. Like they'll
learn something new every day.
Which, if you ever get the chance to go to a hog roast, go. It's one of the greatest things in the entire world.
A hog roast. We when I played football in high school, the very last week of summer practices before we got a week off and two-a-days started, they would do a hog roast. Like there'd be parents that volunteered and would stay essentially overnight for the hog roast. It's pretty delicious.
Oh yeah, hog roasts are the best.
We'll for sure be eating some barbecue in Austin this weekend.
You should. There's I have
a buddy that lives there, so.
There's one spot, but the line's like out the door basically 5 hours before it even opens.
I competed in St. Louis, and we got some barbecue after my meet in St. Louis, and it was very, very average.
I'm gonna be honest, like it's hard to go wrong with barbecue.
I think it was like a chain, because they have a spot in Indy too. I forget what it's called, but
it was Famous Dave's or something.
No, it was I forget. It was all right.
But the thing is, you can get good.
By the way, St. Louis sucks. St. Louis is not the city to visit. It was it was the worst experience ever. You said
that was nationals?
No, that was regionals. So I competed Sunday morning, and when we drove in Saturday night, when we drove
in the car for a minute.
Yeah, I told her we might be podcasting. So We drove there Saturday night, and as we drove in, like we passed downtown St. Louis. I'm like, damn, that looks really cool. So after the meet Sunday, we were like, let's go to downtown St. Louis and like grab something to eat, maybe have a beer, like experience downtown St. Louis. And we got there, and there was like nobody there. Like hardly anybody was downtown. It was like 3 in the afternoon. Yeah.
You would think people would be like day
It was ridiculous, and I was like, what the hell? And we went to this barbecue joint. I got a beer, and we wanted to go see the art. So I asked a lady that worked there. I asked, is there an open container law here? And she was like, you know what? I'm not sure.
There's not, by the way.
She's like,
the entire state of Missouri.
She's like, I'm not sure, but like, no one's probably gonna say anything. She's like, the cops are never down here anyways.
Bree!
What's up?
Put your coffee down.
What?
So put your coffee down.
But
Are you doing your...
yeah, Chris
You're
is,
like right in the middle of it?
yeah.
Right in the middle of the
You
living
can
room?
edit it. There you go.
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. I got to bill some hours today, so I don't have to take as much vacation.
Oh, nice.
I stopped in the Indy office to recruit a little bit, even though the AVP was like, don't try to take me, but I was like, I'm not. Like, I'm just telling them about Kansas City.
Is that part of your job is to recruit?
No, we're...
You're already almost through that bottle.
No, it's been a while.
There wasn't that much in there.
So you gotta have the
You gotta
you gotta have the podcast lubricant. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to fuck the podcast.
Anyways, so she's like, yeah, the cops are never down here anyway, so no one's gonna say anything. I'm like, okay, the cops are never down here. And before we went to the
I don't think that's
barbecue,
the most reassuring thing
No,
that you
not
want to
at
hear
all.
before you
You
try
can
to,
go through.
have an open container.
Yeah, and when we went to the barbecue restaurant, this guy was like looking at us parking. He's like, hey, he's like, this is my city, St. Louis. And we're like, okay. And just kept on walking. And he like watched us the entire time, park our car, pay for the parking. And we both had computers in there. So I was like, I don't even know if I feel comfortable right now. And it was like, there's so many, like, no one was there for a decent sized city. Not hardly anybody was actually out. I was super confused. But anyways, we left the barbecue restaurant, went to see the Ark, and everyone we like encountered along the way was just rude. Like most people were just super rude. There was like a random homeless person just like laying, like sleeping right in front of like a business that was open. And we went to the Ark. There were some people at the Ark, and then she had to go use the bathroom at a theater, a movie theater. And there's a guy cleaning the women's bathroom and wouldn't, like, just for a second, like, come out just so she could pee and leave. Like, everyone we encountered was really rude. Come to find out, St. Louis has a pretty hardcore crime problem. So,
Well,
I'm glad I learned about that after, and she said, the cops are never down here anyways. Like,
that makes a lot of sense now,
yeah. So I was like, sweet, glad we didn't get shot. But anyways, I wanted to talk about the wedding because was that the last time we saw each other? The wedding was like, that was like,
a fucking blast.
this isn't even an over exaggeration, but probably the best weekend of my life for sure. It was
we had so much
so much fucking fun.
It started like from it wasn't even like just the day of the wedding, it was like the whole weekend.
The day before, because you came to, like.
Was it the rehearsal?
Yes, was that when like we first met up? Was that the rehearsal? Because I know Kyle, Jeremy.
I think so. Yeah, that's when all the girls were finally together.
And then
I remember because Bree and all the bridesmaids were doing, I don't know what they were doing, but they were doing something, and so
you guys went and took shots.
Yeah,
and I want to go take a shot, but I don't want to piss Bree off already. So
this is the guy who like later that night, Bree's like, don't stay out. You're like, I'm staying out.
And she didn't say don't stay out. She's like, just know you have to go get the donuts tomorrow at 9. So
I'm supposed to us not to let you get drunk.
No, I didn't say that.
No,
but,
not you. I think she told like the groomsmen to like, look after you. We did not.
She should have known better. I was supposed we didn't have cake. We had donuts for the wedding, and I had to go pick those up Sunday, the day of the wedding at 9 o'clock. Not from 9 to 10, So Friday night we have the rehearsal dinner. Like everyone's drinking because the beer's on the house. Yeah, we did some Dunkin'
Be disrespectful not to drink it.
Matt Harper got a little fellatio in the bathroom. But
oh yeah, that's when the kid walked in on him.
But anyways, may have to edit that one out. But
probably that little last part.
So we were already like drinking there, and then we're like, let's go to the Broader Bowl and have a good time. And Bree and the girls were staying at the venue.
I told you we got pulled over.
On the way there?
Yeah, Rachel was driving me, and we got pulled over because I forgot how to turn on the lights for my dad's car that I was borrowing.
So she was just driving without the lights on?
Yes,
She was sober though, correct?
She was sober. We were on 465 with no lights though, and you know the cop was not thrilled.
So we went from Fountain Square to Broad Ripple, and Kyle, do you remember this?
Yeah.
Kyle gets on one of those scooters in downtown. All right, we had to restart. Restart again.
Why?
Because it shut off. All right, we're back in action.
It'd be if we accidentally deleted the podcast, it'd be very on brand.
Yeah, it'd be very. So if this is all we capture, if this whole podcast got deleted, it would make total sense because it happened before.
That'd be fair.
With just us two, but I forgot what we were talking about.
Although the first time it wasn't just us two, it was that also the random waiter.
Yeah, the waiter was in it too.
We had some live questions.
I feel like we should just talk about top 5 rappers. Just go right into it.
Jesus.
I don't remember. I think all top.
I
DMX.
I did a podcast by myself, and I went over it because somebody, or yeah, you put the question top 5 rappers.
Yeah, I remember.
And I feel like I changed it from when me and you first talked. I said,
but you gotta be able to grow. It's important to leave room for growth.
Yeah.
You know.
I had Nas number 1. I think I had Jay-Z number 2, and then I had. Damn, I don't even remember.
I feel like at the time of the recording of the original top 5 that's since been deleted, I feel like Kendrick wasn't in the top 5, but if you put him in your top 5 now, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I was a fan of his first album. I honestly haven't been that big of a fan since. What was Nas?
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z was in there. Eminem I thought was 4th, and I'm not even that big of an Eminem fan, but you gotta respect the guy. Like so many people think he's the best rapper, and you have to respect his lyricism, but it's just like it's such angry rap that I just can't get that into it. There are some. Songs I
like angry stuff.
There are some songs that are super good. If this was a production conversation, Kanye West would be number 1 for sure. But from a rapping, lyrical standpoint.
Oh, Kanye's never been a rapper to me.
Nah.
He's always been a great producer. Like I think probably one of the more interesting videos I ever watched on YouTube was this was years ago. It was entitled "Every Kanye Sample Ever." And so this was, I think it was only a couple albums in, so they could fit most of it in like a 10, 12-minute video. But they would play a clip, and he does a great job kind of repurposing, music, and it's incredible.
So if you just if you go to Apple Music and just type in Kanye West production, there's a couple, like 2 or 3 really good playlists with like his best produced songs, and most of them, the best ones are like the throwback ones. Like
I'm sure a lot is like a College Dropout.
Like, there's a Common album that so many of the songs are produced by Kanye. God,
really?
I don't know why I'm blanking.
Well, he was working as a producer for so long before he really.
Have you heard of how the song Slow Jams came to be? How I told you about that?
I don't even think I know that song.
Like,
I'm gonna be honest.
Are you gonna be? Are you gonna be? Yeah. Here, we'll just play it.
You're gonna have to license this.
I know. I had to edit this out. This is why I need the Joe Rogan studio. Dude, how do you not know the song Slow Jams? Everyone knows this song.
Justin, you know my musical taste. It shouldn't even be surprising if I don't know something.
Oh, this is what? This is Jagged Edge.
I'm just saying, I was talking
beginning.
Say that you're gonna be here. You don't know this song.
I don't think I know this, no.
Dude. This is like one of the best Kanye songs of all time. And it's got Twista in it.
Justin, wait.
No,
definitely, I don't.
Where he says, he's like, I got a light-skinned friend, look like Michael Jackson. Got a dark-skinned friend, look like Michael Jackson.
I know that line,
God,
but like, I don't know the song.
You're failing me hard. But anyways.
Justin, that me not knowing a popular like hip hop, rap, or just like generally a popular song should not even be the most surprising thing.
I feel like I gotta explain the story now. Because I've heard Jamie Foxx has mentioned it on Tim Ferriss's podcast and Joe Rogan's.
Jamie Foxx was on Tim Ferriss's podcast?
Yes, it was awesome. It was super great. So, this was before College Dropout even came out. P. Diddy at the time was, I might butcher some of this story, but P. Diddy at the time.
I prefer it if you did.
Yeah, make it all fiction. P. Diddy at the time was throwing like crazy, like huge parties, and he was spending like thousands and thousands of dollars.
So P.
Diddy.
No, sorry.
And,
P. Diddy. So P. Diddy now, still.
Yeah, whatever.
I would imagine.
Puff Daddy, whatever.
Sean Combs.
Jamie Foxx was told him. He said, "I'll throw a better party, and I'll make it. It'll cost me a couple $100." So they basically sort of made a challenge, and Jamie Foxx called I think he was acting a little bit at the time, so he called essentially every like famous person he knew, everybody, all his friends, and like everybody in LA. He got a shit ton of people to go to his house and bought a shit ton of Kentucky Fried Chicken and just put it in a bunch of nice looking containers and make it look like it was super fancy. And I think he said he spent like $300 to $500 on it.
Which is funny because
and got like
fast food fried chicken, KFC is at the way low end.
Oh
It's
yeah,
so
for
bad.
sure. Yeah.
Do Popeyes and Churches, Raising Cane's. I'm a connoisseur. I don't know if you do that.
And then he got like punch and put it in a nice dish as well.
Yeah.
But so there was, as he explains the story, he was like, yeah, there's just like this young kid at the party. Nobody knew who he was. He was super quiet. He had a backpack on. And he came up to me. He's like, hey, I got a beat I want you to sing on. It ends up that guy's Kanye West. So Jamie Foxx is like, okay, whatever. They go to his studio in his basement, and he starts playing him the slow jams beat. And Jamie Foxx is like, okay, and starts singing along to it. And Kanye West is like, no, like that's not how I want you to sing on this song. And Jamie Foxx is like, what?
I would imagine at that point, Jamie Foxx is like, you're trying to tell me what to do?
This kid's like, no one knows who this kid is really. And he's like, I want you to sing like this. And Jamie Foxx does it over, and Kanye West is like, no, that's not it either. Like this. And so Jamie Foxx does it one more time. They record the song, and Jamie Foxx is like, that's not gonna go anywhere. And like a month later, one of Jamie Foxx's friends that was like experienced the whole situation was like, hey, that song you recorded with that guy, it's like the #1 song in the U.S. right now.
Jesus.
Yeah, which is pretty goddamn cool.
And now Kanye is like literally insane.
Yeah. Have you listened to his new album?
No,
I knew I didn't have high expectations. I listened to it most of the way through, like the day it came out. There's essentially, and I've kept listening to it. There's like 2 or 3 like songs that like I can vibe to.
They're
all
like
the rest
decent.
is like, it's just like it's so I can't get going with the whole like born again Christian.
He
thing.
kind of he has this impression, especially when he acts. Like I don't think he's got anybody that actually challenges him anymore. Like I would not be surprised if he was literally surrounded by yes men.
As far as in the industry,
at all.
Dude,
No, just generally in life. I don't think there's anybody that says no to him in his life right now.
it's hard to say. That's a little bit more than you would know. But
I
the
think that's how you
the
get to
hip hop
that
and
point,
rap
though.
industry right now is just garbage. It's so bad.
See, that's why you should get into punk, man.
I'll listen to the A-list hip hop playlist on Apple Music. There's a few catchy songs here and there. I mostly just listen to podcasts, and I listen to a lot of Tycho, like one of the best bands of all time. TYCHO.
Tycho.
Yeah, it's like ambient music. I think you would like it. It's really cool.
I could probably.
You have to listen
drive.
to it in like a
relaxed. Like I found them and used to listen to them while I studied in college. It's perfect because there's no lyrics or anything, so it's you. I think you would like it. But yeah,
I'll give it a listen. I got a long drive back to Kansas City
when
on
do you
Monday.
go back? Monday.
Yeah, I'll leave at some point on Monday. I've got a meeting tomorrow, or a couple meetings tomorrow that I gotta go to, and then as long as I don't have anything else, I'll probably just, honestly, what I'll probably do is I'll just, as soon as I wake up, I'll probably just hop right on the road.
Alright, let's move on to talk a little bit about training. So, dude, your training is going like pretty damn good right now.
It's going really good.
I was thinking, I was like, dude, how long were you at Force?
For like 3 years.
And the last 2 years you were there, I feel like you didn't set like any PRs or like any big PRs. And then
it was all really small
and then
PRs.
you started training again at Kansas City. Didn't you just hit like 109 on snatch?
111 actually.
Damn.
Yeah.
You were like hitting like not even consistently hitting 100 at Force.
Oh, dude, like literally
like
right
100
now.
was one you like. One day you could make it, one day you couldn't, and I was like, Jesus Christ, Chris, goddamn.
So right now, obviously it's like pound plates.
And I can't, like every video I watch, I'm like, goddamn, Chris is hitting more weight. Where the hell was you taking steroids?
No, dude, I'd be so much stronger if I was taking steroids, but no, it's
You
like,
saw this gonna show up at your door next week.
well, I haven't competed in a while, so they can't.
They could. If you're still a member, somebody could be like, I could call.
My membership's coming up soon.
I could call USA Weightlifting and be like, Chris Caress.
So like, I don't know if you guys have watched these videos on Instagram.
4 years and he hasn't made progress in 3, and then just started hitting PRs out of nowhere this year.
Yeah. No, like right now it's a 225, basically like 100, 102 feels pretty automatic. Honestly, like.
So what's your best that you just hit? You said 111 on snatch.
Yeah. So my best between the two is like 111 on snatch and about 140 on clean and jerk. So finally, like that big boy, 2 reds and a green club, no collars.
What was your your PRs when you left Force were what, 102?
No, 106.
Really?
My PRs were probably 106, 131.
I don't think I've ever seen you hit 106.
It was. I remember it happened because Harper was in town, and I used that as an excuse to max out.
It was very hard for you to find an excuse to max out.
Right? Well, the thing is, I just needed a program where I maxed out all the time.
So what are you doing? Like, what are you doing different now compared to what you were doing?
So I actually.
Were you ever actually following a program at Force?
No.
Like,
you're like, dude, Justin, I want a program.
For how long? How long?
And I'm like, okay, I'll give you a program, and then 3 weeks later, I'm like,
I don't think I wrote that.
I don't think that's on the program.
I mean, no. I obviously it took me a while. You kind of had to learn those lessons on your own. No matter how much people like scream and yell at you.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, Chris almost needed this time training alone as a little baby pour to start hitting some crazy PRs.
Well, so I was doing that, and then I don't remember why or like what specifically happened, but I remember there was a day where I realized my back just didn't feel strong.
This was
like on my pulls, like in the past couple of months, like right before.
This was like the recently.
Launched into it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right before I launched into this last program I did, I remember there was a day where just like my back didn't feel strong. I could literally feel like I would set either on snatch or like on clean, and as soon as I pull, my shoulders just felt like they would drop. And I was like, that's not gonna work.
You don't want that.
Yeah, like that's pulling.
So
that's creating like.
For days then, right?
I literally added extra back work every single day of the program, and then I actually stuck to the program.
Weird.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Weird how that works.
It was very very off brand. Not what I normally do, but I was doing it. I think I also found something that
that's one thing
I enjoyed. Like I really enjoyed it, and then I've also been Like, I don't know. It's just.
Do you train with people that because you train at a Lifetime, right?
Yeah.
Do you train with other people that do Olympic lifting?
I don't.
Oh,
and the thing is, what got me.
Do you train with anybody?
I don't train with literally anybody.
Really?
It's never the same people.
Oh, I always thought like you had like some sort of group there.
There's a couple
that did
people
maybe sort of the same thing, or at least squatted.
they start. So okay. So this is what happened. So like I moved to Kansas City for like 4 or 5 months. I am just doing whatever. I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Did you stop training at all, or you just?
I never stopped training. I was always going to the gym,
whatever.
and I would every week I would make sure that the movement was still there. You know, I would make sure that I could like still get the depth, and like kind of have the mobility that I thought I needed. But then one day I'm in there, and there's this dude. He's got because super judgmental person.
He's like, hey,
I'm just being an asshole.
You want to get stronger? I got
Yeah, exactly. But no, he had these lifters on. Anytime like I'm in a Globo gym like that, and I see somebody with like lifters, I always pay like a little extra attention because I'm just like, maybe they're for real, or they're just some asshole who thought that they were like cool shoes and bought them, right?
Well, was it you or Harper that said they saw somebody at Brothers one time wearing lifters?
He was wearing neon orange Romaleo.
That's the most
I'm not even kidding. He was walking around in these
at the time too. Those were
$200
$200 plus shoes.
He's probably spilling liquor all over.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god. And
at least, hey,
I looked up because I was like, maybe
they'll stick to the platform next time he's on it.
I remember thinking like maybe this guy's like strong. No, he looks strong. He also was wearing cargo shorts. Not important to the story, but like it was true.
There's no way somebody wearing those to the bar is about to walk on a platform.
I don't know. You never know. Anyways, explain the guy at Lifetime that was wearing lifters.
So I'm watching him, and I'm already skeptical, right? And he's got some weight on the bar. And I was like 225. He was a bigger dude. He looked like he could be strong, but I wasn't sure if he was.
Was it like squatting weight on the bar or?
No, it was like just on the floor. It was 225. So I'm like, oh. And then he snatches it like pretty well. I was like, okay. And then he keeps adding weight. And I think he ended up hitting like 265 that day.
Which is 120, essentially 120 kilos.
Yeah, it was about 120 kilos. So I ended up talking to him, and he's like, oh yeah, I follow Cal Strength. I was like, oh, well I keep seeing him. Eventually I talked to him enough that he's like, oh, my maxes are 125, and I think his clean and jerk was like 160. I was like, oh shit. You're legit strong. Like you're actually a strong guy. Oh my god. And he would always give me shit because like he would see me come in, he'd see me lift, he'd see me like in my lifters, like look at his asshole. And he was super cool. He was like, when are you gonna compete? I was like, oh no, it's like probably never. I don't know if I'm ever gonna do that. And then I finally got the bug again. I was just like, yo, I gotta get back into this. So I started doing that, and now you mentioned like who do I train with? Well, I keep finding people that are doing it, and I'll be doing my program, right? And then we'll get to talking, and next thing I know, they're going to this spot in Kansas City called KC Weightlifting, and I don't know her last name. The owner's first name, her name's Anna. She's like an Olympian, really good weightlifter. I had a random run-in with her one time where I probably looked like a dick because she was walking into the Lifetime to do a USAW cert for a bunch of the trainers, and she had like she was carrying like this little training bar, like one of those 10 kilo kids bars.
Like this chump walking in Lifetime.
Well, she walks in and she's got like these Alico bumpers on it. She's carrying it. I was like, where are the rest of the good plates? She's like, at my gym. And it keeps going. I was like, oh shit, I look like a real dick.
Shots fired.
Right? And I didn't have anything to come back with, but that's what set me back on the path of like getting right back into training. And then obviously, the PRs start coming. And that's always just fueled with fire.
So you don't really like, so you go like, say you go in there on a Sunday, you're just like, I'm going in by myself, I might find other people on the platform, or I might not, it could be.
Yeah, I've got like, so it's very lonely when you move into a place, so like I've tried to make friends. There's one guy like I'll text, I'll be like, hey man, like I'm going to the lift this Sunday, and it's been like extra special for the past. I mean, the program sounds insane when you really look at it, at least from like probably some people's perspective. Yeah. Well, like so the last 8 weeks of the program, every single Sunday, you max out on both snatch and deadlift.
So whose program are you following?
It's Catalyst.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Justin maybe might not have connected the dots, but I've always like had problems like choosing my own weights. So like when there's percentages on it, I thrive. Like I'm so much better because I don't even have to like things like, is this going to be heavy enough?
Yeah, you're like 3 rep max at 9 RPE. You're like, I think I'll call it at 3 rep max at a 7 RPE.
Exactly.
That feels like a 9.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Well, the thing is, like I think what's helped is I treated all of the percentages on those programs as minimums rather than prescribed weight. So it'll always like be, you know, depending on how I'm feeling, I'll just be like, oh, well, I have to at least hit this, but if it's feeling better, I can just take it up.
Is that what the program says? Where you're just like, that's where I was supposed to hit.
I mean, some parts of it. Parts of it. I mean, and granted, like some of this stuff, you know, when you're working in only like 2.5 pound increments, well, technically 5 when you put both 2.5s on. Sometimes you had to round up or round down, and I was choosing most of the time. I was just like, well, you know, is it ego? Maybe, but is there going to be?
It depends on where you're at. Sometimes you just have to do that. Like
absolutely.
Sometimes you just have to be aggressive and go for something that's like not necessarily not on the program, but maybe like a little bit of above the program.
So like sometimes
I've always operated better if like I've gotten a little bit of freedom to like if I feel good one day or I already have. I think it stops every 20 or 30 minutes. Every 20 minutes, I think. But yeah, I've always done better on programs that like I can. Like if I feel good that day,
your weights a little bit.
If I feel good that day, or like just have in my mind a weight I want to hit, I can just go ahead and like try it. I think it's just because like usually most of the time when like I've already predetermined in my head before even going into the gym that like this is the weight I want to hit that day. I almost always hit it, and it like always builds confidence going into like my training going further. So.
Well, you know, so credit to you and Tyler, and I almost made like a really sappy post the other day, but that's just like that's not how I am. Yeah, I thought about it. I was like, nah, fuck that. Like I'm not gonna do that shit.
Type it all and then you erased it.
I didn't even got as far as typing it. I was like, I thought it up. I was like, nah, fuck that. I ain't doing none of that shit. But I was thinking about it the other day. You know, really, like I really sat down and thinking because I'd had a few days in the past couple months where I would like come in and I would just like, especially I'm like, this is pretty much like a Bulgarian style training. I would come in and I would just feel beat up, and it's like it's my max out day. Like I feel like shit. You know, my back doesn't feel like it wants to stretch. My shoulders and arms are kind of tight. You know, things don't feel like they're moving very quick. But even then, like I would come in, I would clean jerk 240, like 240 pounds, and it would feel like a house. Like it would feel so heavy, but I'd be like, okay, well, I mean, like it still went up.
What is that? That's like slightly under 120, yeah.
Dude, that's just under 110. Like that's not.
Oh
even
yeah,
110.
110.
Yeah. So I would do that and just be like, okay, well, you know, I want to keep moving because you know when I was at Force, even though I wouldn't pay attention,
Biofreeze and take some Advil.
Exactly. But even though while I was at Force, I wouldn't necessarily pay attention to the programming. I promise I was always listening to what you guys were saying because you and Tyler definitely had a habit of just kind of philosophizing.
Saying stop being a bitch.
Saying stop being a bitch and be like, it's all mental. You know, it's like, no, you gotta move with intent, like all this other stuff. Yeah. But like, it's true. So like one of the days, I felt like I could barely move 240. Well, I was supposed to work up to a heavy single. Technically, since that felt heavy, I could just stop right there. But I was like, let's see.
Yeah.
So I kept putting on
more
weight.
Sometimes it's like, that feel like a weight could feel like, damn, that's like pretty damn heavy. That feels like an 8 or 9 RPE. Then you add some weight more towards your max, and then sometimes it
pretty much feels the same though. But and
sometimes it moves better. You're like, oh shit, okay.
Because I think mentally you're just like, it has to move perfect. But like that day that I at 240 felt like a ton of bricks, I ended up, I think it was hit like 300. And even like the past few weeks, this is so fun to say, but still seems crazy to me. But 300 almost feels automatic.
It's just crazy because we're coming up a year since you've left, and when you left Force, you were like 130 was always like.
It was iffy.
Yeah, for sure.
It was really iffy.
It's funny, by the way. I always show like people at the gym. I'm always like, if the topic gets brought up even remotely close to like gym fails, I always show your video.
I show that video to people still.
It's so funny. Every time I show it to people, they're like, "Oh my god!"
And everybody's always like, "Oh, is that like a little bit of weight?" It was like 275.
It was. I think that was. Yeah, because it was.
I remember it was 275.
Like, at least 90% of your current jerk, and you're trying to do it current clean and jerk, and you're trying to do it for a triple that was paused in the dip and paused in the catch.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't great.
I remember watching that and I was like, okay, well, like it looks like it doesn't look bad. And then when you re-racked it on the first rep, I was like, that was a little sketchy of a re-rack because your knees bent forward quite a lot.
Yeah, I was catching it all the way. It was being caught in my knees.
And I like the second rep, like I almost saw it coming. Like your hips went forward in front of the bar a little bit, and like you just rocked back. And I was like, I just kind of stood there, and Michael actually
Michael, and Tyler, all three of you, because I remember
I was like,
you were watching Tyler and Michael were like right across from each other, and there was like I think there was like a bar right behind me.
I think we're just going.
We good?
Yeah, we're so good.
So there was there's a bar right behind me, and they were like, "Oh, you almost decapitated yourself." I was like, "Thank you for like warning me or moving the bar."
I didn't know what to do. I just saw it. I was like, "What the fuck?" And I have to explain to people how like when you dropped and like you had one knee up, one leg straight, and if you had both legs straight, the bar would have probably just bounced and you wouldn't have got hit. But you had one leg up like this, almost like in a glute bridge on this side, and that's where like all the weight hit you. And
so actually what happened is
your whole entire thigh was like black. It literally looked like your quad was.
It was like this. I literally, so there's still basically an indentation on this leg, and I actually like I can't feel part of it, so there's like definitely nerve damage in there, and then like it almost looks like on this leg, it's like. You know how your quad looks like almost like a bubble. It's almost like somebody popped the bubble in my quad and it just like...
And your like entire thigh was like... You came back like 2 days later and it was like... your entire quad was like black and blue. I was like, holy fuck. Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah. I was supposed to give a presentation the next day at work. I walk in
there. You should just like cut your jeans so people can see
this thing.
Like,
no, I limped in and they're like, hey, you don't seem okay. I was like, oh, I kind of had an accident yesterday. They're like, what accident? And luckily I had video of like what exactly happened. So I would show them like, do you need to go to the hospital? Like,
I got mine here. No concussion. We're good.
And it got to the point where eventually like one of the directors, so like my boss's boss was like, dude, go to the hospital. And I was like, okay, like, do you need us to drive? I was like, I can probably figure it out.
So you actually went to the hospital?
Yeah, I went to the hospital the next day, and I think the worst part of the
Did they say anything like?
Worst part of the whole experience, because I showed them the video, because they were just like, what happened? I was like, it's going to be a lot easier if I just show you what happened. The doctor, I show it to the nurse, and then the doctor comes in, and she goes, I heard you got hurt doing CrossFit. I was like, fuck you, bitch. What the fuck? I was like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm leaving.
I'm gonna go to another.
I'm gonna be okay. Actually, I ended up taking a couple days off. I think I had like a mild concussion. Like I was definitely foggy for a couple days after that. Like because I just nailed my head.
Sheer fright.
Well, dude, I smacked my head on the platform. Like I had a welt on the back of my head for like a week. Yeah.
Very traumatic event for you, Chris.
Dude, so funny. That was. I don't know if you remember this. That was right. The girl I was dating at the time had just broken up with me a few days before, and that happened. And I posted, and then she texted me. She's pissed. She's so mad.
Did you try to do this to yourself?
No, she's just like, "Why did you post that?" I was like, "Well, it's funny."
Yeah.
She's like, "It's not funny." I was like, "Well, I'm not dead. Like,
Yeah.
so that means it's funny."
All right, we're coming up. Damn, we're almost at an hour here. Let's wrap this up.
You gotta start becoming a Rogan, dude.
What's your my camera won't last that long. What's your favorite lift out of snatch? Just favorite lift in general.
Squat.
This will be rapid fire. Squat.
Yeah, squat.
So back squat.
Yeah. Front squat sucks
You
so
don't
much.
not snatch or clean and jerk.
They're fun, but like squat, it's just like it's different.
Do you have
It hits different.
Do you have a favorite lifter?
Dude, Lou.
True. If you're watching this,
This is for you. I'm doing Kyle Moran's Back Like Lou challenge right now.
did you back it when you're bigger?
I was already doing a bunch of extra back shit every day, so it's gonna make a difference.
That's the thing. I've realized being surrounded by a lot more Olympic lifters, like how crucial like a good back position is throughout the entire lift, and like to get somebody better at that, just doing so many, like just blowing up somebody's back, like doing all the upper back work, and even all like the RDL work or anything where like
RDL work, GHRs,
in that position, like that will help somebody. Like people that are new, like have struggle holding a tight back throughout the entire lift.
Oh, for sure.
All right, go on to more rapid fire out of nowhere. Favorite movie?
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Why?
Dude, it's just such a good fucking movie. Like it doesn't. I won't say it's got everything, but it's got really good shit in it. Like the action scenes are really cool. Heath Ledger does a great job.
He's pretty
the
good.
action. I read an article that like none of it was special effects, other than like some of the computer stuff, like that truck flipping. I think they like told Christopher Nolan, "Hey, we can do this like computer graphics or whatever." He's like, "No, I'm just gonna put some jets on the bottom of this semi truck and we're just gonna flip it." I was like, "That's."
Have you seen the new Joker?
I haven't.
I heard it's really good.
I've heard
I
good
heard
things.
it's like pretty dark. But
Well, as soon as Vice came out, I was like, "This is gonna be terrible. Don't watch it." I was like, "I have to watch it now," because that's what they did with Chappelle's last special.
what favorite book?
Favorite? Can I do a book? Fuck. Can I do a book series?
Sure, go for it.
It's a tie. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so it's a tie between two book series. One's like well-known-ish. One's probably not very well-known at all. The first one that's not very well-known is called The Sword of Truth. It's like 12 books long. Shortest book in the series, like 600 pages. It's a fantasy novels.
Fiction.
Yeah, fiction, fantasy novels. But they draw heavily on Ayn Rand. I've read a few of her books. Yeah, so The Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged, fairly famous author, you know. But they really, which is really weird, they draw on like kind of the objectivist philosophy while also doing magic, which would, I think Ayn Rand would very much not like if she was
She definitely has some questionable ideas or questionable views.
There's a lot of rape in her books.
She's like libertarian to like the max. If you could.
She's almost to the point of anarchy.
Yeah, for sure.
Anarchy or subjugation by
sure.
like corporations would like almost be her preferred means of life. And the other one is The Dark Tower by Stephen King. Stephen King,
I heard of that.
fantastic writer. The movie, don't watch it. It is garbage. I watched it as a huge fan of the books. Idris Elba would have been a great choice to play the main character, even though the main character is based on like old Clint Eastwood movies. Idris Elba would have been a great choice. They just did a garbage job adapting it.
Okay. Drink of choice.
Like mixed drink?
Anything. Drink of choice.
Oh. Old fashioned.
Okay.
Old fashioned with Basil Hayden.
Okay. I would say the best drink. I shouldn't say best drink, but best alcoholic drink I've had is just straight up Johnny Walker Black with an ice cube.
I don't think I've ever had
Johnny Walker Black is so good.
I'm not a big Scotch guy. When I drink Scotch, it's usually
their red label's like alright, and I got double black ones, and it's not as good either. But Johnny Walker Black Label is hands down so good. Okay, if you could be anywhere right now doing anything you want, where would you be and what would you be doing?
I don't know, man. Like I'm pretty. I mean, I think you know, I'm pretty easy to please.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be super.
Yeah, no,
super
it's like
eager.
this would be just fine.
All right.
You know, that's one of the big things about Kansas City. It's like I miss my people. You know, like you and Bree.
Are you staying in Kansas City, or are you gonna move back?
For the foreseeable future, you know, I'm still trying to climb that corporate ladder. You know, I think I've got to decide how far I really want to climb, because all the big wigs, like the directors and the VPs and such, they constantly move. And I joke about this a lot, but I think I legit ruined my mother's Christmas Eve last year that's when I found out I got the job in Kansas City. I called her immediately, and every time I talk to her, she's like, "I found a bunch of jobs in Indianapolis. If you don't want to move back," I was like, "Mom,
I'm decided.
Calm down."
Okay, last question. If you could pick someone to be from the past, who's currently dead, who would you be and why?
Oh, that's good.
I know.
That's really good. I've always been a big music guy, so I think Freddie Mercury. Just like the.
Okay, it's a good one.
He was unbelievable.
We were at this is probably a month ago now. I forgot what brought it up, but I was at the gym and I started asking people who they thought the best female vocalist was of all time and who they thought the best male vocalist was of all time.
I hope Freddie was like
time.
male.
No one mentioned that. I said for female, I just said like Adele. That's who.
I think I would have to go with Aretha.
She was so.
I'm a big Aretha.
That day, me and Bree went out with my parents, had a few drinks, ate, and then I came back home and I was like, you know, I'm gonna get on the YouTubes and see what YouTube has to say.
People say.
And there's a WatchMojo.com actually had the top 10 female and male vocalists of all time.
Yeah, Watch Mojo is dangerous because you can fall down a rabbit hole so quick.
It was close to coming to that point. So I watched it. I watched both of them. The best female vocalist they had listed was Aretha Franklin, and best male was Freddie Mercury.
Oh yeah.
Which makes sense because he was, he could do a lot. He was very versatile. I still haven't watched the movie.
It's a good movie. Do you guys have Prime?
No.
Oh.
All right, Chris. That'll wrap it up. Any last words?
Nah, man. I'm a simple man, and I don't think I have too much advice for people outside of the Geico sphere, because that's my only real area of expertise.
So if you need what? Is it car insurance? Anything insurance?
I mean, do you want like the full or
something?
No. So we sell, service, and underwrite car insurance, and then